Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from our space. Wife cheated many times while we dated, even once for money. Short version. My wife and I are high school sweethearts, married young, 20, and have been married almost 25 years. On our wedding day, I knew that she cheated in one time. That's all she admitted to. Over the years, I kept pressing because I knew in my gut that there were more. In year 10 of her marriage, she admitted to having cheated twice before we were married. And in year 14, she admitted to cheating 3 times before we were married. At year 20, she admitted to 4 times before we were married, that only kissing. See the pattern? Every now and then I need to talk about it, and sometimes ask if she cheated more times. This always sets off an argument about her calling me unforgiving and obsessive. My point was that she never gave me the opportunity to make an informed decision to marry her. Other details. I was a virgin. She told me that she was too, but that was a lie. She did not admit that it was a lie until 2 years into our marriage when she admitted to having sex with all of her boyfriends. Over the years, she made me feel bad for having feelings around our story changing. At first, it was a first love leading to a marriage kind of story. It turned out to be that I was just one of many, while she truly was my first. Recently, I have had the need to vent, which is why I'm posting. I gave her an ultimatum to admit everything or we divorce. She responded with no new information. I know that I will never know the truth and I have to be okay with that, but I want her to tell me more no matter how embarrassing for her. That's the least she can do. Note, she has always minimized her promiscuity as her rebellious period, and that she truly was a good girl who had a rough period. And we were young. She also mentioned that she was abused into her teens by an uncle. I went off to college and literally shared bathrooms with women and never did anything inappropriate except make cookies with an entryway maid whom I considered a friend. I have always thought that she cheated while I was away, but no hard evidence. I don't think that she has cheated since we have been married, and her marriage has been good other than this issue that has always lingered in the background. Sometimes I write notes to myself to vent. Here is the latest. Sometimes clarity comes in the middle of the night. A few thoughts. Because she told me everything? Likely not, because she refuses to swear to God, despite me pointing out that is exactly what you do when you take an oath. She was giving the old-fashioned religious excuse that she knows is not accurate because anyone who takes an oath swears to God. Last time she refused to swear because she was not telling the complete truth. Conclusion? There is more that she knows that she is lying about. What then? I know that her MO is to tell partial truth, but leave out the sex part, which means that, do I think she has told me everything? Absolutely not. I honestly think that she cheated probably 2 times what she has admitted to. Perhaps she is ashamed, and I can only assume the worst. Early on in our relationship, right after high school, she went to the movies with her sister's boyfriend. She said that she considered him an older brother. I recall her lying about it, but her mother told me about it by mistake. The next day when I came over, the first thing that she said was that they didn't touch each other. What? I think that was her tell. Later, she admitted that he wanted to have sex with her and asked her for a kiss. She said that she was uncomfortable and told him to take her home. I have to assume that she had sex with him. With all the others, she told partial truths, but stopped short of the sex part. I'll give examples if anyone is interested. Her manager at Wendy's was a predator and had sex with the teenage girls who worked there. I remember her telling me he tried to kiss her, but she told him that she wasn't that kind of girl. I have to assume that she had sex with them. She had sex with an adult neighbor for money. Perhaps she would have sex to get a raise. I don't expect teenagers to make the best decisions. The problem was that she was acting like we shared the same values. Earlier in her marriage, I'd asked if she'd had sex with another neighbor. Initially, she said no, but later she admitted having sex with him before we were together. I have always suspected that she had sex with him at least once while we were together. He was always using their phone and spent a night a few times. I have to assume she had sex with him. She had another uncle, great uncle, who was a creep. He used to give her money and help her out. She admitted that he made her uncomfortable a few times, implying that she owed him something. Perhaps she had sex with him, which would have technically been illegal because she was a teenager and he probably was 70. But I could understand why she would be ashamed, and I really do feel sorry that it happened if it indeed did. Finally, she has another cousin closer to our age who used to abuse her. She recently admitted that this cousin helped her pay for her prom dress and also told her that I would never continue to be her boyfriend because I was going off to college. It is likely that she had sex with him. Again, I feel sorry that this happened, but all I want is the truth. Part of this is my fault because, before she admitted anything, the morning after one of the cheating events, she asked a hypothetical question. What would you do if I had sex with someone else? I remember it like it was yesterday. Keep in mind, I was a teenager. I said I would leave you. She said, just like that, huh? Later that day, she told me that a guy she hung out with the prior night pressured her to have sex, but she did not do it. Rather, she told him to put it away. Of course, that was a lie, but an example of how she has almost always told a little truth, but left out the sex part. Of course, she eventually admitted that she had sex that night. Same MO with the others that she eventually admitted to. This is also my fault because I did get angry when she admitted things over the years. Out of anger, I called her a slut and whore. I regret that now and have not called her name since before the second admission, which she admitted at year 10 of marriage. So she would either lie than potentially deal with me calling her names and asking more questions. I will likely never know the full truth. Thanks for listening. If anyone wants other details, please message. I also have a question that I would like a mature woman to answer. Or any other advice specifically from a woman. Just want to know if my wife's behavior makes sense. Lying about being a virgin. Why? It would not have mattered much. Deep down, I figured she was lying anyway. Lying about how many times? One other thing she does is minimizes the sex she had. Example, I didn't enjoy it. I've only enjoyed it with you. It wasn't what you think it was like. It wasn't like a porn movie. I never kissed while doing it, so it wasn't passionate. I never had an OG until I met you. We were never naked. No one has seen me naked. I never saw their private parts. After her second admission, I went to a topless club because I wanted to see another woman naked. Despite having co-ed bathrooms in college, I was never inappropriate with my floor mates. I told her about it. That's when she says, I want to see my breasts. Sometimes this makes me angry and I say, really? They were inside of you. I'd rather you show them your breasts than have intercourse with them. Women, does any of this seem remotely realistic? When I was 14, I was not passionate with my hand, but it still felt good. Hoping that's not too graphic. Sorry for the long rant. I'm at the midpoint of my life and have no siblings or older mature aunts or cousins to discuss with. Let's check in with the community for some comments. No Music Man says, you are driving yourself crazy. Go back and read your post from the perspective of a stranger. You are ruminating over the subject and you are stuck in a loop. Just stop for a while. Make a pledge to yourself that every time the subject enters your mind, you will deliberately think of something else. Maybe a pleasant memory of the past 25 years. You're not going to change the past, and knowing more only makes you crazier. Either accept her for who she is now, or divorce her and move on. Next thought comes from Just a Guy 345. Why do you do this to yourself? Find a psychotherapist to help you with this paranoid disorder. Next thought comes from Red Rain 007. Basically, your gut has given you warning signs many times. For whatever reason, you have ignored them. We can't change things that are the past, but we can change is always our future. How do you feel when you wake up every morning next to the woman who lied to you again and again and took away your freedom of choice in the past? Do you feel love or anger? And this is the feeling you have to wake up with, live with, and deal with until the end of your days. You've always the power to change things for a better future. Good luck, buddy. I wish you the best for your future. Next comment comes from Passionate Traveler. Why in the world are you still married to that woman? Don't you have any self-respect? She seems to be a piece of trash. Last thought before the update comes from Sea Lifeguard 4317. I understand how you feel, and cheating is never right, but you married her, and you said she hasn't cheated since you guys were married, and y'all's marriage is doing great, which means she cares about the marriage, so focus on building your marriage. Don't worry about the past, because if she betrays you in the marriage, now the only thing you need to worry about is if you'll be strong enough to let her go then. Okay, now for the update. Update. My wife and I agreed to stay together. I agreed to not divorce her, on the condition that she answers my questions honestly and without anger, yelling, defensiveness when I ask, no exceptions. She agreed. Would like to hear your thoughts on two things. To celebrate our 25th, I gave her a diamond anniversary ring. Yesterday we went to get it sized, and she decided to exchange the one that I picked for another. Frankly, I find it a little rude, but perhaps I am off base, and it's no big deal. I asked a question that we agreed she would answer with no resistance. She blew up yelling about how much she has been punished for the past, and how much she hated herself for what she did to me. This proceeds to tell me that I should have asked the question differently. This is not what we agreed to. Of course, she is human and has emotions, but we agreed that she would give this to me no matter what I asked, because she didn't give me the opportunity 25 years ago. Alright, that's the update. Time for some more feedback from the community. Franak says, so we agreed on something, and when you asked your question, the first thing she did was break that agreement. So what is the agreement good for in the first place? Let's take the thought a little further. What is this kind of agreement good for anyway? What were you hoping to get out of it? Next thought from Quayhog 1945. OP is on a fool's errand, debriefing an acknowledged cheat and liar. She wins. Next thought from Diet Tab Soda. She's winning 100%. He's buying her rings and she can easily exchange it for one that she prefers. Oki is also holding on to questions from 25 years ago. Is this correct or are my eyes deceiving me? The next comment comes from What Crisis? I think almost every single comment on your original post said get a divorce. You chose not to. That is fine. It's your life. The bare minimum required for a relationship to survive is love, respect, and trust. Your relationship has none of them. Why are you surprised that your wife behaves as she does? She has never faced a single consequence in 25 years of marriage. Sorry, OP. No more advice from me. Weather Crown says, OP, I think we all understand by now that you are in a frustrated loop in your marriage. The reason we'll break down to escape this loop is, accept that the past sucks, your wife did some crap she shouldn't have done, and certainly shouldn't have lied about. But your future together is too important to sacrifice, just to sacrifice your curiosity. Nothing you find out now can be changed anyway. If you believe she is a safe partner, that she is better now than she was ever before, let it all go. Tomorrow is a new day, and you two could be really happy together. Or, 2, never let go of the past. The betrayal was a deal breaker as much now as it was then, and you can never see her as a safe partner. The only path forward here is to reject her and separate, so that you two may pursue your own way to happiness. Either way, you need to make an executive decision whether to accept or reject her. Anything else is just a crippled relationship lumping along. And our last comment comes from CA Pilot. I went back and read your original post. The top 4 answers all had it right. You're making yourself crazy. Look, I get it. I too decided to stick with a cheater. She hasn't cheated on me since. So far, so good. I see no sign that your wife has cheated on you since you got married 25 years ago. Maybe I made the wrong decision to stick with a cheater, but it's the decision I made, and I will stand by it. You've made your decision, and now you need to stand by it. What you need to do is get into therapy. It helps. And stop torturing your wife. P.S. about the ring. Are you seriously telling us that you've been married this long and don't know that women exchange gifts for something they actually want?